Now at 6, lights out and losing patience. More than 1 million still without power 48 hours after Tropical Storm Isaias. The reason some won't have it until next week. On the defensive, 24 hours of New York City's quarantine checkpoints. How well are they doing, and are they keeping out the travelers from those COVID hotspots? And checkout time, the I-team is looking into some reported bad behavior at hotels that have been converted to COVID homeless shelters. We'll talk about the reason neighbors want them gone. I'm NATALIE PASQUARELLA. Thank you for joining us tonight. Chuck is off tonight. I don't have to tell you that patients wearing thin all across the tri-state as thousands of people will spend yet another night in the dark. You could hear the chainsaws. You could see the utility crews from all across the area there out in force today in neighborhoods locally. Some say it's just not enough. Nearly 3 million people lost power after that storm on Tuesday. Now about half of them still without power today. Most of those still in New Jersey. News 4's John Chandler live in Maplewood tonight, where some people, John, we understand, might not get the lights back on until next week.
Well, one home in particular on this block, it's the only home that doesn't have power on this street, and it is the home behind me that has the tree collapsed in the front yard. It dragged down live wires in the process, and residents here still fear because they are told those wires are live at this hour. It is a concern for them, and they have yet to get a response and a crew out here to fix it. The reason? They're the only house on this block that doesn't have power. There are other blocks, entire streets, that don't have power in Maplewood, and it seems right now those are the priority. The tree that snapped at 2 in her front yard is the least of Kimberly's concerns. She's afraid those power lines are still live.
I just find it's very unsafe for the kids if they're saying there's live wires and nobody can help us until they cut off the power. At least come and do that.
The problem? Utility crews are overwhelmed with cleanup all over New Jersey.
Really don't know when we're going to get power even. They may fix it, but you still got to turn the power back on.
In Red Bank, lines are still down, and new poles slowly go up. In Maplewood, this crew fixing a transformer came up from Georgia just to help.
It's pretty cool that they're coming all the way from Georgia to fix our power in Maplewood, New Jersey.
When will the power be fixed on this block? Dan heard Sunday at best. He at least appreciates the effort from crews.
My daughter's 13. She's like, well, she's the one that's having the hardest times.
No power, no internet. What's a teenager to do? For Claire and Ian, it means more family time.
Like board games, I guess. A lot of like sitting around and doing nothing really.
How frustrating is this right now?
Very. There's like no signal either for like data.
Their boredom may only have to last until 10 tonight. That's when the power is supposed to return. But those estimates are growing by days. Utility companies backlogged, answering outages, falling trees, leaving damage, and thousands in the dark. Though unlike these folks, Kimberly is thankful her tree at least fell away from the house.
I'm counting my blessings, but I just think we could at least just get a response.
Now, a tree cutting service that came by to cut down this tree has been unable to get a response as well, only being told by PSE&G that they are simply in a queue with other outages being dealt with. We have been in touch with PSE&G. They said they're going to take a look at this problem to see if they can fix it quicker than Monday, which is what homeowners are currently being told here. Live in Maplewood, New Jersey, I'm John Chandler. News 4 New York.
Let's hope it's quicker than that, John. Thank you so much for that report. We have to get to an update on breaking news out of Rivervale, New Jersey. That is where the reports of a driver whose car went about 100 feet down an embankment into the Hackensack River. It happened near the Edgewood Country Club. That's at Rivervale Road and near Piermont Avenue. Right now, we're waiting to find out the condition of the driver there. Tonight, we want to show you some new video of a tornado that hit southern Jersey during Tropical Storm Isaias. Take a look at the power there. You see it ripping through Upper Township in Cape May County. It toppled trees. It sent a fence you see flying. A nearby cemetery suffered extensive damage, too. The National Weather Service says it was an EF1 tornado packing winds of up to 100 miles per hour and a path of about 5 miles long. On Long Island, people are holding out hope that their power will be restored by this weekend. PSEG Long Island expects to have that power back on by the end of the day tomorrow for 85% of the more than 400,000 customers who lost it. Crews have been working to clear 3,000 trees and limbs. News 4's Greg Sergel live out in Dix Hills, where, Greg, I understand people aren't just frustrated with the power crews per se.
That's right, Natalie. We've been watching all day people walking on foot here in and out of their homes. That's the only way they can escape all of the storm damage that Isaias left behind. Now, they say they've been clamoring for help, but no one has responded.
We're trapped right now.
Downed trees, poles, and power lines still block Gables Court in Dix Hills. The damage untouched 2 days after Isaias. Liliana Cassio says calls for help to PSEG from the dozen families who live here have drawn no response.
It's nobody's fault that the tree fell, but the 3 days now like this that we can't even get out, literally trapped in our homes, is just a disgrace.
Terrible, terrible. They should have been more prepared for this storm.
22 miles away in Blue Point, Jim Prentke was so frustrated by PSEG's performance, he emailed Governor Cuomo about it.
You chose this company to run the power, and they're worse than anything we've had before.
Prentke's woes ended late this afternoon when his power was restored. And in neighboring Bayport, the arrival of a utility crew from Ohio brought electricity and a smile to Ed Newbeck.
A great relief.
We've made a lot of improvement. We think the majority of our customers are getting through to us.
I have called on the leadership team of PSEG to announce plans for a post-recovery review.
Before that review, however, there's much work left to be done, like cleaning up all the roughly 3,000 trees or limbs PSEG says fell across Long Island, and restoring power to another 120,000 PSEG customers.
It's very frustrating, but, you know, nobody got hurt, so we're grateful for that. It is what it is, you know, just got to be patient.
Right now, PSEG is promising that this mess will be cleaned up and electricity restored for most Long Islanders sometime tomorrow, but a few will have to wait until Saturday to get their power back. We're live in Dix Hills. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Oh, Greg, that can be so stressful out there just waiting and waiting. Thank you so much. Let's move to Connecticut now. More than 580,000 customers without power there, but Eversource says that most should have it restored by Sunday night. Governor Ned Lamont activating the National Guard to help with those utility repairs. And here in the city, about 70,000 people still don't have their power on. About 180,000 lost it after the storm. Con Edison estimates that most electricity will be restored by the end of the weekend. Governor Cuomo said that 7,000 emergency workers from the state will be out helping those utility crews. Now, Queens still has more outages than the other 4 boroughs combined.